Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Dan Steele, highly accomplished entrepreneur, author, speaker, and business strategist with over 25-year experience in the tech industry. He is a recognized leader in the startup community, having been on the founding team of several successful companies that have reached over $100 million in annual sales. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Thanks for having me, AJ. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Nice to have you on the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India. And a lot of people, I'm sure, not just in India, but everywhere else, will be able to benefit from what we are going to discuss right now. The good, the bad, and the ugly of artificial intelligence. So first to understand from you, Dan, is that let's look at this AI impacting, especially in terms of industries, the work, the society, the education sector. And before that, let's talk about the book itself. You have written AI Unhinged and the book on ChatGPT. Means what exactly led you to write a book specifically on ChatGPT, which is changing so fast and developing, which others are saying, let's stop it for a while. 1,000 people have asked for, okay, let's stop it for a while and see how it goes, at least for 6 months.
Yeah, so what, I through my life, I've tried starting to write like 10, 15 books, maybe got a chapter or two down and never, followed through and finished it. I was driving with my wife and I said, wouldn't it be funny if I used ChatGPT to write a book about ChatGPT? And she's like, that's actually pretty funny. You should try it. So I got home and it took me about a week to get the prompts to where I could get, good content out of it. So I did that book and then was doing pretty well with it. People were booking me like you on podcasts. And then ChatGPT 4 came out. And I said, well, I wonder if I can do this the same. So the day after ChatGPT 4 came out, I did the book on ChatGPT 4. I'm like, those are pretty, and they're pretty, if you're just trying to understand the technology, it's a great book. If you're trying to get ahead using it, learning prompts, that it's not the purpose of the book. The purpose of the book is to just lay out what ChatGPT and GPT-4 are. But then one day I was sitting around and I'm like, I asked ChatGPT, what would be really scary to human beings that is technically possible with AI? And that's when the book AI Unhinged came out. That one I think is the most interesting out of the series. It kind of goes into everything that it believes possible, including ChatGPT believes that it could talk to aliens, and it suggested ways to try to reach out and communicate with aliens.
Right. So AI can talk to aliens, and we may never come to know about it.
It seems to think it can. And then it talked. There's a lot of futuristic stuff in there. But aliens was the thing that jumped out the most.
Okay, Dan. So you have been with the tech industry for quite some time. So now let's look at this whole AI thing in terms of how do you see first ChatGPT itself. Now it is changing a lot way we are writing things, and not just in one particular industry, even in writing codes. Now people can become a developer or whatever, any sophisticated way we want to see it. Even a non-technical person can become technical person. Also, it is helping in judgment. Some people have tried there. It is also a educationist or whatever you can want to tell it. It has almost taken over the social media duties of a lot of people. And now the larger different industries are, getting impacted by it. Even in the education sector, governments have, several state governments, they have banned ChatGPT to be used in educational institutions and all. Even on society, the whole impact is going to be either in terms of jobs, the workplaces, they will all be changing. So in all these aspects, what is your assessment while you were writing or thinking of doing all that research on ChatGPT itself? Is that because this seems to be one of the big things that that represents the face of AI for the general masses is ChatGPT. So, what's your understanding? How should we look at AI in itself in terms of our workplaces, in terms of our work, individual life as a society, the way we are getting educated, the way we will get educated in future? Where does this AI thing come in? Is it a good thing, a bad thing, or a ugly thing?
I think it is what you make of it. So in 2013, I co-founded a company in the influencer marketing, just technology. We did a partnership with IBM. If you remember, like 2005 or six, IBM Watson won on
Absolutely.
the show Jeopardy. So we did a marketing we did a marketing play with IBM Watson, and we had to raise about $15 million to do this, to build out the technology and build out the partnership. Now that partnership changed our business. Very great relationship. It really helped our business grow, but it cost us about $15 million. Today, with a little bit of nuance and tweaking, you can get the same types of results of what we had built back then. Now, granted, we've influential. I'm not on the team anymore, but they've been developing for years, and their products advanced way past what we started with. But for maybe $30 a month, you could do what we were doing for $15 million. And the way that I look at this is, it democratizes everything. It gives access to everybody. So if you're a small business, you can use these tools, and you don't have to hire a $10,000 a month SEO agency. There's a program I was using the other day that generated pitch decks, and it was a beautiful pitch deck. I just put in a prompt, like, this is the business, this is what we're trying to get across the deck. And it wasn't perfect, but it was beautiful, and I was able to edit the deck. So, that $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 that a startup might spend getting a pitch deck made to raise venture capital, they don't have to spend that anymore. I think this really opens up the doors for a lot of people, and we can see it's a tool. I know you had mentioned a lot, so I'm trying to cover those points. Just schools trying to ban it, I think, is a horrible idea. It's like I look at it like a calculator. We use calculators for everything. So why would we make humans do the work that a computer can do for us? Why wouldn't we teach the kids about how to file their taxes or how to do something with their hands now that they have the creative art, that sort of thing, because they can have their essays written by an AI. And I also saw another school was so worried about the AI that they made the kids talk in class. So it went from this class where the teacher was just speaking at the children, and the children were going home and doing homework, to where it became a conversation with the professor. And now you have more interaction and engagement with people. I see it all as a big win for society, and I'm not super scared of it.
Right, Dan. Right. It's nice to see the positive way you are looking at AI, and even I would want to look at it in that same manner. But how would you look at, say, all those tech guys, around 1,000 of them, including Elon Musk, and that we just don't know how AI is going to come up in the future. And so we must take a pause. Even very recently, just a couple of days back, Geoffrey Hinton, he was with Google and is known as the godfather of AI. And immediately after, he talks about, he warns us of the danger of AI, that that bad actors will use generative AI for bad things. Now, how do you look at it? How should a general person who does not know as much as you would know, or the people who are part of this whole development process, is that how do I understand? Should I be positive? How do I remain positive? I want to be positive, but the fear is something, is also part of human psyche.
I think that it's really easy for rich people to say, let's hit pause, because they already have access to all these tools.
Okay.
Oh, it's scary, let's hit pause. And that while these other countries aren't going to hit pause, and we can get left, in the dust. I don't think that government regulation is a great idea. because our government. So when did YouTube come out? Like 2004, 2005? We're just starting to get copyright laws right with YouTube. 18 years later. YouTube's probably old enough to vote in the United States. And we're just starting to pass legislation that kind of covers, what happens if this person uses that person's intellectual property? How do we take these things down? We had the DMCA, which kind of covered it, but not great. But we're getting into that 18 years later. So are we going to try to go through legislation for 18 years and get left behind while, other countries like India, China, other big countries with resources are not going to hit pause?
Okay. So if we look at the AI itself, then one major, criticism that people are saying is that it may take away a lot of jobs. Even IBM Watson we talked about. Yeah, IBM has just recently, I guess, it's working on reducing number of people. And now what I read was that maybe in the coming years, it's going to reduce as much as 30% of its workforce, maybe because of the development of AI. I don't know if I'm putting it 100% correct, but something like that IBM will be at the forefront in terms of using AI into their operations, and it's going to reduce the number of people within their system. Likewise, many other companies may also look at the same thing, and everybody else, even in every other aspect that we see of what is the job losses. How do you look at that? And second part along with that is that people are fearful is that our lives will be controlled by AI. Everything, even there will be so much of artificiality around us that we would not be able to differentiate between the real and the artificial. So how do you look at these two aspects, especially if there's any other aspect that comes to your mind? Please do mention. And secondly, how should people look at it purely from a non-fearful perspective, or should there be some ways we should always keep an eye? It's like fire. Fire is good, but you can't play with fire. You can only use it the best way possible.
Sure. So the way that I look at it is I had an idea for a website about a couple months ago. I wasn't that busy. And I was able to build the website, build video content, do SEO, develop all of that like in a matter of a week myself. So these folks who might be getting eliminated from, this middle of the rung job, they could go start a business right now using artificial intelligence, and they could be ready for if their job ever gets cut. Or they could embrace it and become 30, 50, 100% more effective and guarantee that they're going to not be the one who gets cut. It's just a matter of how you look at things. So if you want to get in front of it, you can become very effective with these tools and become a more efficient employee, or maybe work a little less, like have some free time with your family. Or you could start a business, because that's much easier now. When 5 years ago, if you wanted to rank for search engine optimization, you'd have to spend $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month with an agency. Now you can use ChatGPT to write a good blog post, edit it. You can use Dolly or Midjourney to create a good infographic. And then you can use something like Pictory.ai to make a video. And you have the three core components of a solid blog post that Google would rank. Okay. And you did this with $40 a month worth of tools. And now you're competing with big companies. So and then you have Shopify and Stripe who've made it so that if anything you want to sell, all you have to do is figure out how to market it. All of these tools are there for you. So if you want to sit back and fall and play a victim, sure, that's what you could do. Or if you want to take, what an amazing time to be alive with all these tools, you can become an entrepreneur without any of the barriers that I had to start a business 5-6 years ago, or without as many barriers as I had. Or you can become a more productive employee and likely get a raise.
Okay, Dan. So what are the sections that you have covered in your book on ChatGPT? I think there are three books or 4 books?
There's 3 books. So the first 2 is just the book on ChatGPT and the book on ChatGPT 4. Those are basic. They teach you what they are. and then the difference between 3 and 4. And then I have AI Unhinged, which I'll just go through some of the chapters. 1 is the sentient city. 2 is augmented humanity. 3, AI is an alien diplomat. 4 is the quantum revolution. 5, AI in the multiverse. 6, AI powered time travel. 7, the AI God. So the AI kind of thinks it could become God if it wanted to. The Great Merge. And then resurrection of extinct species and simulation hypothesis. So it gets pretty, it goes, kind of into the sci-fi, but the reality part of it, and gives people a chance to look at the scary parts coming up, as well as, I believe that it's mostly positive.
Okay. So did you create all these things by your creativity, or you also use ChatGPT for any of these chapters?
I use ChatGPT. So it was my idea, my prompt engineering, but ChatGPT did most of the writing.
Okay. And in terms of the scary scenario, do you think all this advancement, people who are scared or are not are fearful, should they be scared, or is it just wishful thinking? It's not going to happen like that.
Unplug your computer, turn your phone off, have a real, that's one thing that, people are scared that you're not going to be able to tell the difference between real and fake. I didn't have Facebook. I didn't have Twitter growing up. I had to go and I had to talk to somebody and interact with them. The thing I mentioned earlier about the school, the class where the teacher actually had to start talking to students so they knew that the students were learning. Let's bring more real interactions with people, bring those things back. I think that's a very good thing. If you can't trust what you're reading on the internet, you might have to engage with somebody and have that personal experience. And I think, ChatGPT or any type of AI is never going to be able to duplicate the human experience. And I feel like we lost some of that when we got caught in, the hole of trying to get likes on Instagram or retweets on Twitter or viewers on Facebook Live. We lost a lot of that interpersonal. So I think that it might circle back and make people engage with each other again and see the humanity in each other.
Okay. And people who are worried about, say, creativity part of humans, is it like now a thing of the past, or we can still remain to be creative and be still very good friends with AI?
I think it gives people more of an opportunity. So my wife is an artist and she can make these beautiful digital things I'm not capable of. But when I have an idea and I go into Midjourney, I'm able to, have my dog riding a unicorn over a rainbow. And I'd never be able to draw that, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't a thought, and it doesn't mean that I'm not creative. I just didn't have the talent to get it out there. Now we have tools to get it out there. And I feel like the people who are worried are gatekeepers. Like, oh, I was able to do that because I am able to paint. Well, now that one skill doesn't block the rest of the world from being able to put out their creative ideas.
Right. So, one question to understand is that whatever, say, use of artificial intelligence technology, we always talk about one thing, that this will free us of all other work, and then we can use this time for ourselves. So in the age of AI, say after 5 years or so, what will humans continue to do? They will just wake up and then go to sleep all through the day. What work will they have, and what is it that they would be looking forward as a species when AI will eventually take over every aspect of their life? Like today, you have those Alexas and all that stuff, and later, and a lot of places, even your doors get opened by all those automatic things, and with AI and everything remote control. How do you look at the human part of us living in, say, 5 years' time?
I think that the best interfaces for AI that make your life the easiest are the ones that are going to be commercialized and win. I think that we're going to use those as tools so that we're more efficient and we can do more things. I don't think I'm going to do less things because I have AI. I actually do way more. I'm able to accomplish a lot more in a day now than I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And I think I'll be able to continue to accomplish more in a day. So I'm not so worried about, losing things to do. I'm also, buying a little bit of land off the grid. So maybe I'll spend more time up there, working on planting some strawberries, things like that.
Right, right. I try to ask you in all different possible ways that if you are sort of you having any different thoughts about this AI, but you seem quite positive about it, and I can see your point of view, and I'm sure more and more people will understand this point of view and start looking AI as a friend, as an ally, and something which can help their lives, work life, education life, creativity, and on each other aspect of society for the betterment of it.
Yeah,
So I'm sure. So how? Yeah, carry on.
I think a lot of the problem, or why all of the news is negative about AI, is because the way that media gets paid is by getting people to go to their website, getting views on their video. If their video says, hey, everything's going to be all right, nobody's going to click that link. Like, hey, this tool can actually make your life better and you'll be more productive and you won't have to work as hard. That's not what gets headlines. It's doom and gloom and negativity. So that it's just the way that the values are lined up. And I think that, we need more people out here talking about the positivity of it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what's the best way to connect with you, Dan?
Sure.
And also about how where they can get your books on ChatGPT?
So if I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn, DTSTEELE. My books you can find on Amazon. The book on ChatGPT is probably the easiest, or just AI Unhinged. It's up there. If you DM me that you bought any digital copy of my book through Kindle, I'll send you a signed copy. So either DM me on LinkedIn or Twitter. Just say that you saw my interview on the show, and I'll send you a signed copy.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm sure a lot of people will now have a very deeper understanding of this whole business of AI, and that there is nothing to be fearful of it. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you, AJ.